Welcome. My name's Alan Paquette, and you're probably here because you want to learn how to play board games by watching videos. Well, I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to be a cat in an eating contest? In today's episode of Rulebook Rundown, we're going to find out just how that all works in the 3 to 7 player game, Tem-Purr-A. Let's set it up. In this game, you're trying to have the fewest amount of indigestion tokens by the time somebody gets 3. Once somebody gets their 3rd token, then that will end the game, and then whoever has the fewest amount of tokens wins. If 2 people are tied, then whoever has the most cards wins. The deck is comprised of 90 cards at the beginning, with 1 indigestion card in it. You don't want to draw the indigestion card, or that will end the round. So during the round, there are, you can take 1 of 4 actions. The first action you can do is to serve a dish. When you serve a dish, you just place a card in the discard pile, and now I essentially have started the suit, basically, of 2. So then it goes to the next person. They have to match that same number, so they can play a 2. And then you kind of have it staggered so you can keep track of how many cards are in there. Then the next person plays a 2. Now this person doesn't have a 2, so another action they can do, instead of playing a card or serving a dish, is to eat a mouthful. That means that you take all the cards that are in play, so there are 3 2s here, and the value altogether is 6, because 3 times 2 is 6, so they will choose to eat 6 cards, basically. So that means that they draw 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and then they reveal them to everybody. There's no indigestion cards in here, so they're safe, and they draw all of these cards. So that gets added to their hand. Then these cards are discarded, and then when they drew, they start a new pile. There are also action cards that you can do. There are 3 different types of action cards, and we'll go over each one of those. This first one is a +1. So instead of playing a numbered card, you can play this action card. For example, right here, if I didn't want to play another 5, I could play this action onto the pile. This has increased the draw value by 1. So right now, if the next person were to eat a mouthful with this, instead of just eating 5, they'll eat 6. That doesn't mean that the number is 6, so they wouldn't play a 6 onto it. They would still be a 5, because 5 is the starting amount. It would just add 1 to the total. So if there was another 5 here, then it would be 11 instead of 10 that they would eat. The next action is to choose who goes next. So say this next player doesn't have a 5, so they use this card to choose who plays next. And the reason it's a finger is that you point to somebody and say, you play next. So you can have it skip people, or you can have it be the next person. Either way works. So say they pick this person over here, they have to play next. Well, the last action you can do is this reverse card. When you do the reverse card, this tile here comes with the game. It always starts on clockwise. When you play a reverse, it switches to counterclockwise, and vice versa. If it was on counterclockwise, it would switch to clockwise. So then the turn order, or the play order, would go in the other direction. The 4th action you can do is if you happen to have 2 of the same, like for instance these are 2 7s, they can play these to clear out the whole area in play. These will get discarded along with 1 of these, and then this becomes the new draw pile, or the new dish pile for people to go to. So say this person is okay with drawing 7 cards because they don't think that the indigestion card is near the top of the deck. So they decide, okay, I'll take those 7 cards. So then they count off their 7, which is about there, and they reveal, oh no, they have an indigestion card. So this card comes out, they gain these cards to their hand, they get an indigestion token. The discard is then added back to the deck along with the indigestion card, and then they get a choice whether they want to add a second indigestion card into the deck or not. A lot of times people do because it's more exciting. There are only 6 indigestion cards in total, so that you cannot have more than 6 in here, but eventually it'll be, dwindling down. So this gets reshuffled. The turn order always switches back to clockwise, and then it's the person who just took the indigestion, it's their turn to start. So then they would play a card, and play would continue. If it gets to your turn, like this for instance, and it comes back around, if it gets to your turn and you don't have any cards, you have to draw 3 cards and then play from there. If in that draw you draw an indigestion, you do take a token and it proceeds to the end of the round as such. So you keep going until one player ends up with 3, and then that concludes the game, and then whoever has the fewest amount of tokens from the remaining people wins. And if there's a tie, whoever has the most amount of cards wins the game. And that's Tem-Purr-A. Now you know what it takes to win an eating contest. I plan on doing tutorial videos for all of my board games, and I have a link in the description below to my collection. If there's one that you're interested in, feel free to put it in the comments and I'll bump it up on the queue. But until then, I'm off to read more rule books. Thanks for watching.